Hey, welcome to the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin. I have an awesome guest here, my friend Hillary today. So she does a little bit of everything. She's an entrepreneur. Some people call it a mompreneur. So thank you for coming on, Hillary. I really love to hear your story.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. I was just doing a little light reading here.
What is that?
Checking out one of my favorite new books. Maybe you've heard of it.
That looks really interesting. What is that about?
I don't know. Some guy. He's some dude. Some dude. He's a pretty cool dude. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Absolutely. You know what else is exciting?
What?
Talking about sponsors. So let me ask you this. So do you ever wake up in the morning and put on a shirt?
Pretty often.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes, feeling on a day. As pale as I am, I wear a lot of shirts. So what I do is I get up and I put on my Apparel Lab shirt like this right here to match my banner back there. So if you've heard of Apparel Lab, you know what apparel is?
I'm familiar.
It's clothing, apparently. So like shirts and stuff like that. But they also do mugs and water bottles and stuff like that. But here's what you can do. You can get 10% off your first order if you use promo code Relentless. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah, so that they do awesome work. They don't do any of these uncomfortable, boring, boxy shirts. That's not they do good shirts, only the good shirts, the soft ones, the cool ones. So you want to reach out to Apparel Lab at theapparellab@gmail.com. I'm going to spell that out because it gets tricky in there. So TheApparellab@gmail. How was that?
I thought that was great.
Don't you feel like you could go buy some shirts, 10% off right now?
I'm going to go get my 10% off right now. Well, after this.
Yeah, after this, we'll get that, and then you can jump right out there. So something else going on. Do you know there's a serious collaboration going on in Huntsville? A lot of people don't know about.
I would love to know more.
Oh, I will tell you. It's between Rocket City Mom, who we know does awesome work, and the Huntsville Madison County Visitors Bureau. They're combining. Hey, you remember when Run DMC and Aerosmith got together?
I think like you should walk that way.
Oh, there you go. So what you could
way
do
that they're walking. Yeah.
That's right. Is you could walk onto your smartphone here and go to your app store and get the new app. It's explorehuntsville.com, but you have to go to explorehuntsville.com/Joe. You know what you're going to get when you're going to go in there. So let's say I open my little app right here and I want to take the kids to a brewery today. Hey kids, get in the car. We're going to a brewery. So I go in here, I open my app up, I go to things to do, and then it finds me the closest brewery that I can take the kids to. Isn't that great?
I think that really is a great collaboration because I use Rocket City Mom for a million different things. They're an absolutely fabulous resource run by amazing people who are friends of mine too. I know yours. Yeah. So they're awesome. I think that's wonderful. That's great for them and a really good resource for the city, especially with so many people moving in.
Yeah. It's one-stop shopping too. You know, you go try to look up a bunch of stuff, and then you can hit their turn-by-turn directions once you get in there. You know where you're going. That's very important for me. I grew up in Huntsville. I still get lost, so I use Google Maps to save my life.
But I understand that.
Yeah, but the best part is you would probably pay $4,000 for that app, wouldn't you?
Probably.
Easily, right? Me too. But you can get it for free if you go to explorehuntsville.com. Go check that out. /Joe. You got to find. If you don't put the /Joe, it's $4,000.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Joe.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for getting through the ads with me. So let's talk about you. So where are you from, and what did you do? What kind of kid were you growing up?
What kind of kid was I? Oh my gosh, the nerdy kind. I am from Dothan, which is about 5+, depending on how you drive, close to Florida and Georgia, south of Huntsville, and definitely the nerdy kind, but I also played a lot of sports. But I came to Huntsville in 6th grade to go to space camp, and my one life ambition was to come back and be a space camp counselor, which I'm pretty sure is not what they want to train you for at space camp. But I thought the counselors were having so much fun, and I thought this is the coolest thing ever. So after my sophomore year of college, I applied to be a counselor and got the job and moved up here. And so that's how I ended up here.
Wow. See, there you go. Living your dreams out. That's what you're doing.
That's right. But, it's pretty bad when that starts at 19. I did work there for 5 years. I did meet a husband there who's still my husband.
Well, there you go.
Met my first husband.
Yeah, it's nice to pick up a good husband at space camp. That's good.
Every now and again. Yeah, he was also a counselor, not a camper. I should clarify.
That is good. Good clarification there.
Right. But it's a really common story at the Space Center. And I have lots and lots of friends, but they tell you at orientation, look around because about at least 4 of you will get married.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know the stats.
There's a lot of love.
I get it, man. I get it because, you know, I met my wife in the trailer park. It's probably pretty much the same thing.
It's the same thing. But
it's true love in the trailer park, space camp. It's all over. It must be the jumpsuits. We all in the jumpsuits.
Let me tell you, you either look like a janitor or an astronaut. And I worked for them for several years afterward in the marketing department and traveled around the country. And every now and again, I had to show up someplace and I was still wearing this flight suit. People would look at you like, should I be impressed? Do you need me to move my feet so you can vacuum? Like, what are you doing here, lady? It was either a combo, could be either. But I think one of the things, well, I often attribute it to 3 different things. Number one, you've had at least 2 years of college. So you've kind of got that wild, you know, some people have that wild out of them.
Some people, yeah.
Number 2, you are kind of interested in the same things, right? I mean, you're all there. Number 3, you can really know who somebody is after spending 8 hours with children.
That's true. That's true.
And
the kids see the worst or the best of them, right?
Right.
I guess it's like war, right? Kids can bring out the worst and the best in people.
The kids will also tell you if their daytime counselor was terrible or in a foul mood that day, or they're grumpy. They're the first ones to say, "Oh, we love so and so," or "Oh, you know, they're great. It was the best job. We loved it."
All right. So you go from space camp to how do you go into the entrepreneur world? How does that connection happen?
Well, that's a good question. There was a job in between there. I worked for a company out of Ohio that had that runs summer camp programs, and so that leap from space camp to a different company is called Camp Invention. It was a pretty easy one. That made sense. It was still kind of sales, kind of marketing, organization, and I managed the Southeast for them for about 7 years, and then. Crazy story. I'm what I like to call an accidental entrepreneur. As in, I don't know how to say entrepreneur correctly. That's not, you don't ever go to school and think, you know what I'm going to do when I grow up, start my own business. They don't have classes for that. They don't have people who come in to tell you how to do that. There are why in the heck didn't I major in business?
Hey, I minored in it. It still didn't matter. I didn't pay attention. I didn't think it would matter.
Well, I majored in English. Really, it does help in a lot of things. I think communication is great to know for anyone, but with a minor in history. So, you know, those are really, really helpful tools. But as my dad said, when I was in college and I wanted to change to journalism my senior year, he gave me the great advice of just graduate. They will train you. You know, most jobs will train you as to what they want you to do. Just get your degree and move on.
And get off my payroll is what he said.
Get off my payroll.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he meant. But it's so true now. In hindsight, you look back and you think, oh, yeah, that's a very good point. But to go back to how Julep started, I was expecting our 3rd child in about 5 years, which is a very fun plan. Now, 15 years later, it's really fun. But I had a friend an acquaintance really, who was lovely and said, I really want to sell my embroidery business. And I said, I don't know anything about monograms except I like them. I don't know what you're talking about. And she kind of trained me for a few months. And I got really excited about it. And I thought, you know what, I could do this. I've been working from home for that last job for 7 years. And here I was expecting yet another baby. And it's something that you think, oh man, this could really work out great with my schedule. So she then decided that she didn't want to sell her business, which was perfectly fine. And it turned out that I didn't realize I'd gotten my hopes really excited and really looking forward to that. And I just, with a lot of support from Jason, who said, if anybody can do it, you can do it. So that's how it started. I didn't know what I was doing. Some days are still an experiment. That's the best way to go about
I hear that.
owning a business. But that was 11 years ago. So it seems to be going pretty well. So yeah, that's how it started.
Actually, no, I think a lot of people are that accident. Like, I don't know how this happened, but I'm glad it's happening.
Right.
So you had a physical location. You've been doing online and at home, and then you had a physical location recently sold that. Kind of tell me how that transition went and how things are going now.
Sure. I have had Mint Julep Monograms, which is my website, for 11 years. And in the summer of 2013, another business owner here in town approached me about purchasing her business. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've just kind of been starting. No, you didn't understand. I just wanted to have like a small little corner in her store. But turned out that we ended up buying the store, and it was called Mint Julep Market. And it was wonderful. And I worked with 10 to 12, 15, sometimes other women business owners mainly. And we are inside there and we all work together. It's kind of like a co-op. Everybody works a shift and we all sell different things to be able to bring customers all kinds of different, really nice boutique items that you can't find a lot of places. But about my lease was coming up on that. It wasn't something that I knew I had to sell or something that really was a pandemic thing. My lease was up in May, and I'd known for about a year that God really said, hey, you're driving yourself crazy, because I was still running the website with a lot of help and still running the store with a lot of help. But at the end of the day, it's still 2 full-time jobs, and no sane person has 2 full-time jobs. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. And a lot of the times, something that for me personally, and this is different for everybody I knew was staying at home when their kids were younger. And that's awesome. If you do that, that's fantastic. I've been able to work from home the entire time we've had kids, but still working a whole lot. Anyway, I feel like the older our children have gotten, you probably know this. Would you say this with me, that I feel like it's better to spend the time with them now, because I'm looking down the home stretch, especially with our oldest.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh my gosh, where's all that time gone? It's like that. So I knew that I wanted to spend more time doing the things that mattered long term. And I would love to go back, maybe to owning a brick and mortar again eventually. But I'll tell you, to be able to sell and transfer a business during a pandemic, you talk about a huge blessing. There's nothing in the world that would make sense about that. So I'm really grateful. My friend Beth, who I had worked with for at least 5 years before that, bought the store, and I'd asked her to change the name because my website name is so similar to the store name. So that's why the name changed. And it's the Cottage Collective, and it's wonderful. And she's doing the best job. And I still work there. They can't get rid of me.
They can't get rid of you.
Right. We still have people who bring things to be embroidered there. I still work a regular shift like everybody else. And it really, truly has worked out so far. I feel like I need to knock on something, like give me some wood to knock on, because it's a great thing. I'm so grateful because she's doing an excellent job and moving into something that she was born to do. I get to see that develop, and I get to be the person in the background who says, if you want my advice on this, I'll be glad to give you my 2 cents. But if not, I'm going to support whatever you choose. We've, I think, worked really hard, both of us, to be able to help and be, she, at the beginning, especially, she'd say, I'm going to change this over. Is that okay? And I'd say, please, that's fantastic. And then I'd call her and say, I'm going to do this. Is that okay? We've both worked really well. And so that's been great. It's wonderful. I love it. I love still getting to see customers. I love that I still get to monogram things that come from there. We still, it's all the perks are still there. So it's going great. I'm so thankful to be able to just focus more time on things.
It's so awesome when you can get the win-win, right? When both sides are happy. It's so rare nowadays. It's so cool to see when it happens.
I can't tell you how many times I've said that exact phrase. Like, how did this happen? I don't know, but I'm really grateful.
Well, that's really cool. So somewhere along the way, you weren't busy enough working 2 full-time jobs. You started a charity on the side. So tell me about your charity and how that came about.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not mine. I won't take credit for it. I came alongside with another well-established group. This is a super long story, but I'm going to make it short for you, Joe. The gosh, I guess it was in the late of 2014. I had just this gut feeling through a friend of mine who was a missionary in Africa. Just, I'm telling you, this feeling had to be from God, because it didn't make sense. Then that was to take an embroidery machine to Africa. I didn't tell anybody because it sounds ridiculous. At the time, monogram sweatshirts were really big, and where I was wanting to go in Kenya, they're on the equator, like
Not many sweatshirts going on, right?
Who needs a, I didn't want to tell anybody. It sounded ridiculous, but it was something that just kept coming to me over and over again. And I messaged my friend Devry Coughlin, who was an on-site missionary at Kenya Relief, again, which is a really well-established program. This is nothing that I created. They're doing amazing work over there. And I said, Devry, this sounds weird. And she said, no, actually, we've been wanting to open a gift shop on site. And I couldn't believe it. And she said, why don't you just come over? So in March of 2015 is when I went the first time. And she opened this door and said, no, this is actually this spot where we want to have the gift shop. And I just started crying like an idiot. I didn't know what it was. I mean, it was amazing. You've flown all the way around the world, and all of a sudden it all made sense. So I came home. Again, this story is very long. There's a whole long write-up about it on my website if you're very interested. And it is
I will link that in the show notes so they can get the full story.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But it's a cool story. But we were able to raise money and purchase an embroidery machine, get it over there. So I went back in August of that year and set it up. And we trained 2 women who were there locally to supply the gift store. And I mean, they weren't selling monogram things to people on the street. That's not how it is. When all of the missionaries and the surgeons and the people came to the site there at Kenya Relief, they would embroider their name on their scrubs with the Kenya Relief logo. And they had a gift shop there on site that they kept stocked. So there were all kinds of different things that they made, and we were able to train those women. The thing that's some God math that I didn't intend, I really didn't know why I was doing this. They weren't planning on, I don't know. It just all worked out. It's unbelievable. But they've raised enough money to build another school with that excess. So they've paid the women who work there 5 times what they would make anywhere else. They've given Jacqueline, who was one of our first employees there, she had that experience that you couldn't have gotten. I'm talking, when you say the middle of nowhere, this is the middle of, it's east of the middle of nowhere. So she was able to take that experience and move to Nairobi and work with an embroidery machine and a computer. They'd never worked with a computer. And so it's pretty amazing. It's really neat. I'm really grateful they let me come alongside them with that. And that charity is called Kenya Relief. And our friends Devry and her husband Curtis, who are amazing, are actually back here in Huntsville now, living and working.
Oh, cool.
I think at Lincoln Village. So
Man,
yeah,
one embroidery machine. Look how far it went.
unbelievable. It's
cool.
a cool story. And sometimes I'm always shocked that I was a part of it. Like, it was truly, it's a neat thing. And I'm really, really glad just to be a small part of it.
Well, I went to Nicaragua and I brought some Taco Bell sauce, and it was also a pretty big hit, but not quite as big as your embroidery. But we do what we can, right? We do what we can.
Right.
We're kind of switching gears a little bit. So what's been one of your biggest failures? It could be personally, professionally, and what did you learn from that?
I love this question, Joe, and thank you for the advance, because that would have been a really hard one.
It's a tough one. I hit him. Yeah, I'm gonna get you later with some rapid fire ones, but for now you get a little prep time.
Okay, thanks. For this one, I really feel that, I don't know, I really thought through several things with this. The first one that really came to mind was a business thing. At a time when the kids were really little, added a clothing line to my business, because with the machines that I have, you can make applique and embroidery and do all these clothes. And I did that and I loved it. And so I don't want to call it a failure, but I worked myself out of it just took forever and ever and ever. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, how am I going to charge, $45 for this shirt? Because that would be what I could have made doing it. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about pricing and a lot about how to actually say no to things, because I ended up just
That's
shutting
an
that.
important one. That is an important one to learn.
Very, very hard for me to do. I think for a lot of people who are recovering people pleasers,
Yeah.
that when somebody asks you for something, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you that's how you make money, is you say yes. Like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. And you're happy to have the business. It's very hard to say no. But that was a big lesson for me, to say no. Saying no to that meant saying yes to other things that were better streams of revenue.
Right.
And that's really, really difficult to do. And it was a good lesson to learn, though.
Yeah, I think we all have to learn that. And I'm still working on it. I'm a recovering people pleaser as well.
Yeah.
All right. So it's your senior year.
Oh
You're out in the car. Tell me first, what's on the radio or your CD changer or whatever you had going on back in the day. It may have been in the trunk. I don't know what year you had. So you're out with friends in the car on a Friday night, your senior year. What's on the radio and what are you guys doing?
Okay, now you and I are the same age. You might be a couple months older than I am. So full well we had a Discman with the tape attached in the front. And if
some people had money, man. They had those disc changers in the trunk. They had a couple bucks. Hey, pull over. I got to change the CD.
I totally forgot about disc changers in the trunk. That's fantastic. Okay. No, I had the Discman with the cord that had the tape that went in it. And if you went over a bump,
it's over.
Yeah, it was all over. Okay. I'm going to say Better Than Ezra, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, any of those cool grunge hippity things that you listen to now and you go, wow, how did we listen to that?
It went good with our flannel. It fit the flannel at the time.
Oh, I forgot these. I wrote them down because I was afraid. Weezer,
yeah.
No, I still love Weezer. They have an album where they remade they did a bunch of covers. It's fantastic. Green Day. These were all early Bare Naked Ladies, really good. Yeah, I wish it was cooler. And I don't know that I can answer the latter part of that question, because I have a feeling my children might eventually listen to this who are in high school, and there could be incriminating evidence.
That's a good answer. Yeah, plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just move on. We'll just act like we were driving to church on a Friday night or something. So.
Right. Let's just say there were not a lot of things to do in Dothan. So there were fields, there were field parties, there were hanging out with people.
That's right. Yeah.
After a football game.
We did a lot of dead ends. We were kind of classier, I guess.
Yeah. We call them the cul-de-sac.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, kids don't understand, man. It's pre-internet, man. You had to do something.
It's so true. I don't know what we did, but we managed to make it.
Nothing. Just got in trouble. So, all right. So kind of along those lines, what makes you mad? I know you're not a very mad person, but what does make you mad? We all get mad.
Incorrect grammar.
Oh no. So, as an English major, so this is me.
I know. That's terrible. That's my one big pet peeve. And I'm sure I do it all the time and don't realize it. So I give a lot of grace these days because I need a lot. People who litter and not putting the cart back at the store. That's are my
one
things.
For me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on, man. It's right there. Don't ramp it up on the curb. Walk it over there. Come on, you got it.
Right.
Get a few extra steps. Hey, there's certain people I let them slide, but if not, go walk that thing back there.
Exactly. I'm with you. If you're, older, you're on crutches, you've got a baby in a bucket, those terrible bucket things. Yeah. I get it. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what inspires you though? So you're doing a lot of cool things for people. What inspires you?
I think a lot of the times I'm inspired by nature. The sunrises, I think, are awesome. Sunsets, anything at the beach. Look, Joe, I wrote down answers.
Look at you. Look at
You
you.
refer to my notes.
You're prepared.
I love all these flowers blooming outside, make me so happy. Love it. I mean, it just, now poor Owen, our oldest, cannot breathe. He has sneezed 862 times in one day. This has just started everything blooming. I love reading good writing. That inspires me. And believe it or not, when people do marketing well, that inspires me. Like, you know, when you watch a really good commercial or you see something that's a well-written, gosh, sorry, Joe, somebody
okay.
called, any well-written song, any, I don't know, just so many things like that. And you think, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Stuff
I saw a good marketing thing the other day. It was selling like some walnuts or something, and it was like a chipmunk, and the walnuts were out like here, it was like they were stuffed in his cheeks. I was like, man, look at that, Pat. I'm impressed with good marketing too, because I know bad marketing because I've done a lot of it. So when I see good marketing, I'm like, hey, look at that.
Yeah, me too. It means they put some thought into it, and I
Right.
appreciate that.
It's hard for sure. So, all
Yeah.
right. So what are you curious about? I know you like to do different things. What are you curious about?
I do. I've decided I need a hobby. I don't know
Mhm.
what that's going to be because I don't have time for a hobby, but I need to find one. So I'm curious about trying to find a hobby. And I also have always wanted to start some sort of online organizational system for small business owners, something that I would need and love and use. But I need to research that and figure out how that works and what to do. So I don't know. I always have ideas running in the back of my mind. Are you like that? That
I
you
am. Yeah. I have too many sometimes.
Yes, me too. I keep a notebook and then the notebook just gets all jammed with lists and to-dos and groceries and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. See, I'm the same way, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. It gets me. I
Yeah.
need to focus myself. But yeah, I'm curious about a lot of stuff. So how about this? What's your nickname?
Oh, Hill.
Hill.
Nobody's ever
I
called me
understand that.
anything. Yeah, it's just short for Hillary, but nobody ever called me Hillary until after college when I had a real job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
when you were getting in trouble, maybe then your parents might call you Hill. Like
maybe.
we call our son B. When you say his full name, he's like, "Oh, what did I do?" It's like I'm just calling you by your real name. Sorry.
Just want to make sure you still knew what it was.
Yeah, you never know. They might forget.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, what's something positive that came out of the pandemic for you? Obviously, selling your business is a pretty cool one, but anything else you can think of?
Yeah, that was amazing. I think looking back, and can you believe it's been a year? Today would mark a year. Remember, this Friday was so nuts, so a year ago.
Yeah.
I think for us, we'll never get that time back again that we were able to spend with our family. And I think
Yeah.
only in hindsight are we able to appreciate it as much. You know, everything was canceled, all baseball, our kids are involved in everything like yours. Everything was canceled, postponed, done on Zoom, and we were just here. And I loved that. It was really, I hate to say it like that because it was hard. You
Mhm.
know, I don't want to just hindsight say it was amazing, but it was very difficult, very challenging. We were facing a lot of issues with the store and figuring that out as far as when we had to close and what do you do to still make money. The website began to boom, which I'm really grateful for because nobody wanted to leave their house. It's just obviously a combination of things that, and like I said, in hindsight, I don't want to make it out to be, oh, this glorious, wonderful time because it was really hard. But we did get that time with our kids at home and they knew what was going on and we could discuss it and we were learning something new every day. So I'm curious as to what they'll think about it in 20 years and
Me
how,
too. Yeah.
how they'll look at it and what they'll say we did wrong or we did right, or hopefully they'll remember the good things and not crazy times. But
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, that forced family time was really cool, you know, especially with teenagers like we have. They don't really
Right.
want to hang out with you very much. So that forced family time was kind of a blessing in disguise. That we didn't think we were like I'm like you. I was worried about my business and all this stuff, but hey, man, we
Yeah.
got to hang out more than usual, work puzzles, and be off electronics. It was a good time.
Yeah. I think looking back, hopefully we'll be able to remember those things.
I think so. And hopefully the kids have short memories about the bad stuff. But I can tell my son, like, man, you're living history right now. No one's done this school
Right.
thing that you're doing right now. So you're going to be in the history books. He's like, oh, that's pretty
Right.
cool. So,
Yeah.
but all right, are you ready? If I had a drum roll, I'd do a drum roll, but we're about to do some rapid fire questions. So you like
Okay.
just whatever pops off, just unless you can cuss too if you need to. I'm just telling, putting it out there. Yeah, it's up to you. You need to cuss, but all right. So this will be
Okay.
10 questions, just rapid fire. Don't think about them too much, but just whatever rolls out of your head. So, all right, number one, last time you laughed really hard.
Today.
You're a good laugher.
I'm
Yeah,
a very good laugher. If I have a few strengths, one is that I'm a very good laugher.
that's good to have around. Did you snort? I should have asked that. When's the last time you snorted from laughing?
Yeah, I do that. Probably at a joke or a meme or something. There was a meme this morning that had a Netflix glitch. I put it on my Insta stories for mint julep monograms, but it made me laugh really good. It showed some sniper, but the title was Marie Kondo knew, and then the person above it had written, Marie Kondo's efforts have gotten really drastic. So I don't know. It was silly, but I love stuff like that. I laugh a lot.
Oh, you gotta follow Hillary on the gram. She's a super story person. I put like one up every week, and like I'm not sure how they work, but you got it
You're
down.
better at that. You're good. You're getting good. You're getting
I
good.
gotta pick my game up to get on your level though. All right, number two. What is your favorite movie ever?
I would classically say Goonies.
Oh, hard to beat.
Hard to beat Goonies. My favorite combo of history and a rom-com is going to be An American President. The movie
Really?
that I forced Jason to watch when we were dating, and it was on a tape, and he said, I'm pretty sure there's cheese oozing out of the VCR. I don't know. There's so many. I love a lot of different movies, but those are probably two good ones.
Good. Hey, I'm a Goonies guy too. All right. So what's one thing on your bucket list?
Gosh, Joe, these are hard.
Sorry,
Probably-
these are hard. What popped in your head? Something popped in your head. What was it?
Probably Hawaii. I've been to almost every state, but not Hawaii.
I've never been either. That's a good one. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit easier. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Again, man, I was in the era of watching a lot of TV. You know how now we're like, oh, you shouldn't watch so much TV. I think our parents were like, you should watch more.
Saturday morning, go in there, get your bowl of cereal and get to watch it.
Man, I watched USA Cartoon Express.
Oh yeah.
Where they just roll through like Captain Caveman, and I think Scooby-Doo would have to win.
Yeah. Any of the Globetrotter episodes, I'm in.
Those are fantastic.
All right, let's see. What's your favorite summer activity?
Probably going to the pool and I don't do a lot of swimming. I just sit and hang out and talk to other moms.
There you go.
There we have
for
it.
that, right? There you go. All right.
Yeah.
If a movie was made of your life, who plays you?
Reese Witherspoon, maybe? I would love that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe some good red hair.
Yeah, they could dye her hair. Totally be you. That's a good one. I like that. I can see that.
Okay, thanks.
All right. How many books have you read this year?
Not as many as I want, Joe.
Hey, it's okay.
I'm not
You're
a great
making...
As somebody who loves to read. I feel like I read more articles now than I read books. So maybe 2.
Okay.
Joe,
hey, that's
terrible.
2 months. Hey, we've already gone through 2 months. You're like a book a month. That's pretty good.
No, it's not.
Hey, it could be big books. Nobody knows.
Right.
Hey, I kept track of my books last year that I read, and I counted The Far Side. I read like 2 Far Side books, and I counted that.
That's good. How many did you read last year?
52. So like 1 a week. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
But
that's really neat. 2
of them are The Far Side. There's stuff like that. So I counted them. Hey, if they're on audiobook, I count that too. I read it with my ears. So
right.
That was my goal anyway. 50 was my goal. So I got barely over it. So all right. So what's a weird quirk that you have?
Oh, how long do you have? Okay. I pop my elbows
Off your
all the
elbows.
time.
Will you like
Have you
straighten them
ever
out?
seen me do that? Yeah, just straighten them out and they pop. Joe, I've done this for so long. And when I was in college, I was taking notes because I told you I was an English major. So all we did was take notes, taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. And I can feel the pressure building up in my elbow. And that's what it is. It's just pressure. And you just have to pop it to release it. It doesn't, I don't think it hurts it. I think, but it's, so I was taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. And I would go, wow, and just pop my elbow and keep going. And so after, well, I don't know, 6 months in a class, somebody who I got to know asked me how my Tourette's was. And if I was doing okay with it. And I said, what are you talking about? So yeah, it's not a good look for anybody. I don't try to do it in front of a bunch of people, but you'll see. Now you'll
Well,
notice.
now I will.
Oh,
I'll say I've
wow,
never
she pops
noticed
her
before,
elbows
but
all the time.
now I'm going to look for it. I may go pop my elbows. I do that thing sometimes where it feels like you just need to straighten it out and pop it.
Yes.
So I'd
Yeah,
have that.
that's what it is. But I do
Okay.
it lots of times a day.
It's all
It's
those
not-
notes, taking all those notes. Catch up to you.
Going back
You got
to
note.
hockey.
You got note elbow. That note elbow is serious. I've heard about that. All right.
Right.
So, all right. Last rapid fire one right here. So, what's your go-to dance move, and why is it from the '90s?
Why is it from the 90s?
Yeah, I'm just reading your thoughts here. So,
Yes,
if you
already
had
know
a
it's from the 90s.
your go-to dance move, like someone puts you in the Soul Train dance line, what are you hitting in the Soul
Yeah.
Train dance line?
I think you got to go shopping cart. That's
You know, right?
necessity.
Mm-hmm.
You can go a little Elaine overbite.
Yeah. Oh, you got the overbite.
You got to throw a kick in there, and she throws her head and throws the kick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you could top it off with a sprinkler, and you'd be down the line. It would be fantastic.
That's all it takes. It'd be so fast too.
Right. You'd have that done.
I'm picturing it right now in my head. I can't wait. We'll have to make that happen. So the next interview, we'll be dancing in our little squares over here, like we're on Hollywood Squares.
I love that show too.
Oh man, that was my jam back in there. That's another one I was watching a bunch of TV. Look at that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's all the rapid fire ones. Thank you so much for coming on. I'll link all the show notes to your stories, your Instagram, your charity, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy talking to you, but I especially enjoy talking to you today. So thanks.
All right. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.